My name is Sarah Odell, and this is my story of how I've reached this point in my life and this point in my educational aspirations. So, the first experience that had a profound impact on my life was when I was 16 and living in a small town in Illinois. My dad got a new job, and we had to move to Philadelphia. Considering the two places are both in the same country, we really didn't think it would be that different. But as it turns out, the two have very different cultures. In the Midwest, it's very common to talk to the person next to you on the bus, in line for the bathroom, wherever you are, and make friends with them. When I tried doing this in Philadelphia at church, people looked at me like I was crazy and did not want to participate in conversation with me. But I also benefited a lot from the two different cultures, so in the end, it was a great experience. But the other difference was the difference in the schools. The teaching styles were different, and more importantly, the curriculums were different. So when I went to calculus the first day, I was completely lost because I had not learned any of the information that we were reviewing. Because as it turns out, the way that the curriculum is set up in Illinois versus Philadelphia, I missed an entire month-long unit. That was the basis for what I was supposed to be learning in this class. So not only did I have to learn at the same rate of these students in a high level class, but I also had to catch up very quickly. So that was definitely a challenge. But after this experience, I grew as a lot as a person and learned a lot because of having two different high school experiences. So in the end, it was a great experience. Second of all, I entered college at Boston College and began pursuing a career in education. So sophomore year, I entered my first pre-practicum experience in a first grade classroom in Massachusetts. And I had the opportunity to relate my prior experience of moving to this classroom when a new student came from Peru. And the only difference between the two of us was a pretty big one, but she didn't speak any English. So not only did she have to, like me, adjust to the new culture and the new curriculum, and she was quite behind because of the different curriculums, but she also had to do all of this in a language that she didn't understand. So as I was going through this experience, I started to think about how unfair this was, and it inspired me to learn more about bilingualism and teaching bilingual students throughout college. So then, from that experience, I decided to study abroad in Spain with three goals in mind. First was to learn Spanish because I'd always had an interest in Spanish and I thought it would be very beneficial since the majority of bilingual students in the United States are Hispanic. Second of all, I wanted to somewhat experience what bilingual students go through when they enter a new school and do not understand the language. So it was a little bit different because I did have a basis in Spanish and it was my decision to do so, and I was not thrown into a classroom like that. But I did somewhat get to empathize with the students about how overwhelming it can be when you don't understand anything, and how difficult the easiest tasks can be when it's in a language that you don't understand. And being able to empathize with these students is important because the more that you understand these students, the more you can help them, and the better that they will learn. And then third of all, I wanted to learn how to teach English as a foreign language. So while I was in Spain, I had the opportunity to do so and learned a lot of different methods for teaching English. And also just learning the information that they needed to know was very beneficial. So from there, I have my educational and teaching philosophy has been shaped by these experiences. I've learned that children's cultures and languages need to be accepted and celebrated, not viewed as a deficit like they often are. And this way the children can learn to the best of their abilities. And so that is what I hope to do as a teacher based on these experiences. I hope that these experiences will help me be able to do so that way they can see that they bring amazing things from these languages and cultures, but I can also help them function better in this society by learning English and learning this culture. And that is how these experiences have shaped who I am and brought me to this point in my life, an educational career.